Good day everyone. Welcome to the Daily Wisdom channel. Thank you for joining me as I present a summary of my heritage studies project titled, Investigating the Importance of Traditional Food in Preserving Cultural Heritage in Our Community. This research was inspired by a growing concern that many young people in our community are no longer eating or valuing traditional food. Instead, they are choosing Western fast food such as pizza, chips, and fried chicken. This shift in diet is not only affecting our health, but it is also causing the gradual loss of cultural knowledge and practices that have been passed down through generations. The aim of my project was to explore the role traditional food plays in preserving cultural heritage in our community. I focused on identifying the common traditional foods, how frequently they are still being prepared, the cultural meanings attached to them, and how we can encourage the younger generation to embrace these foods again. Some of the objectives were: to list commonly known traditional dishes in our community, to find out how often these meals are still cooked today, to learn the cultural practices connected to these foods, and to recommend practical ways of promoting traditional food among young people. In my background research, I learned that traditional food is much more than just a meal. It includes dishes like Sadza, Rezviyo, derere, nyimo, mopane, and mopane worms, foods that are deeply linked to our culture, ceremonies, and history. These meals are often served during important events such as weddings, kurova guva, and harvest festivals. They were prepared using natural methods, often in clay pots over firewood, and many of these foods are rich in nutrients and free from artificial additives. However, due to modernization and globalization, traditional diets are being pushed aside. That's why I decided to dig deeper and find out exactly how serious this issue is in our local area. To collect data, I used interviews, observations, and questionnaires. I spoke with 6 elders, 2 traditional healers, and 4 parents who had a wealth of knowledge on traditional food. I also visited homesteads and observed how these meals are prepared. Lastly, I interacted with teenagers to understand what traditional foods they know and whether they eat them regularly. From my findings, I discovered that while most elders and older parents could name and cook traditional dishes such as Sadza, nyimo, and mopane worms, only 3 out of 10 teenagers said they eat traditional food regularly at home. Many admitted that they prefer fast food, and some even said they don't know how to cook traditional meals. The elders emphasized that traditional food is more than just food. It is a symbol of respect, identity, and health. They told stories of how certain dishes were reserved for rites of passage or used to honor ancestors. For example, mopane worms were once considered a seasonal delicacy and were dried under the sun using traditional methods. I also used an observation checklist during home visits. I found that some traditional meals are still prepared using clay pots and firewood, especially during ceremonies and on weekends. However, many families now use stoves and modern tools, showing a blend of traditional and modern lifestyles. Based on all this, my conclusion is that traditional food is indeed an important part of our cultural heritage. It teaches us about our history, strengthens family bonds, and promotes respect for our roots. Unfortunately, without action, we risk losing this knowledge as older generations pass on and younger ones move further away from these traditions. To help preserve this valuable part of our identity, I recommend the following. Organize school cultural days where students prepare and share traditional meals. Encourage parents to cook traditional food at home more often. Create recipe books and video tutorials that teach young people how to prepare these meals. Include traditional food education in the school curriculum under heritage studies or food and nutrition. Use social media and local radio stations to spread awareness and pride in traditional dishes. This project showed me that food is not just about eating, it is a powerful way of keeping our culture alive. By sharing meals and preserving recipes, we pass on stories, values, and identity from one generation to the next. Let us not allow fast food to erase the rich culinary heritage of our ancestors. Thank you.